Wow, you look like you got that just woken up face.
I have. I'm knackered. I didn't sleep very well last night. I was awake for like 3
Excited about the
hours.
podcast.
Must be that. Yeah, it must be that.
Yo, welcome aboard. It's the cruise ship Diaries. Eddy and Pete. Yeah, we're spitting fire like a wire. Yeah, I'm Eddy, the Welsh kid with the Navy style, rocking these wild curls. Yeah, you know it's been a while on the mic, spitting truth, showing life as a quest. With my homie Pete, yeah, he's way above the rest. And I'm Pete, baby, handsome with the clean shave. Jokes on point, keep the vibe like a rave. Brilliantly witty, got the talent and the flow. Crafting the beats to make you feel the glow. On this podcast ride, we're cruising the seas, bringing you the laughter, you're feeling the breeze. Check it on YouTube, we're living our dreams. Eddy and Pete got the best team, it seems. Yeah, each episode a treasure, drop a gem like it's gold. Sharing our stories, listen close, let it unfold. Waves crashing like the words, every rhyme we deliver. With Pete at the helm, real talk make you shiver. Like when I hit the keys, creating that perfect sound. Mixing laughter and wisdom until we all feeling bound. Got a shot of talent, yeah, pouring it thick. Sailing through these waters, we're destined to stick. So we're cruising the ocean, feeling young and alive. With Pete cracking jokes, we're always gonna thrive. Every week a new story, you don't wanna miss. Tune in, join the party, come ride on this podcast ride. We're cruising the seas, bringing you the laughter, you're feeling the breeze. Check it on YouTube, we're living our dreams. Eddy and Pete got the best team, it seems. Oh, 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 yeah, it's all about the journey, not just the destination. With the handsome face, I'm the source of inspiration, taking you along through the lows and the highs. With Eddy by my side, we'll break through the sky. So raise your glass, toast to the fun that we share, bringing you the vibe, no stress, just there. From Wales to the world, we're making our mark. With the cruise ship Diaries, we're igniting a spark. So hit that subscribe, don't let it fade away. Eddy and Pete, we're here come what may. In this podcast life, ride the wave and delight. Cruise ship Diaries, yeah, we shine so bright. Podcast ride, we're cruising the seas, bringing you the laughter, you're feeling the breeze. Check it on YouTube, we're living our dreams. Eddy and Pete got the best team, it seems. I'm on the ooh, 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 I'm on the ooh, 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 I'm on the ooh, 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 I'm on the
First of all, as you would
Yeah.
expect, nothing to do with working on a cruise ship. You like your coffee. You got your coffee right there. You used to carry a big jug around with you. I'd call it a jug. It was, it probably held 2 or 3 cups of normal coffee in there. Would you agree?
I've still got it. Do you want me to get it?
No.
Cool.
But have you know that the cat poo coffee? Have
What
you ever
coffee?
tried the cat poo coffee? You know that I think it's South American thing where they feed the cat the coffee, and the poo that comes out is what actually makes a coffee. It's like some sort of delicacy. You had that?
I'm trying to remember. I have something in the back of my mind where either I've tried it. Yes, I did. I've tried it in Asia. Where is this?
Mhm.
Where is it in Asia?
I don't know. Somebody brought it on board and left a bag of it, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Just couldn't do it. It might be amazing.
I did it. Yeah, we
You
went
did
on
it.
a trip. I think Lauren took us on a trip. Remember hotel director Lauren? She took us on a
Yes.
trip, and I remember we saw some things. There were some things there. We took pictures of things. We ate things. We drank things. I don't remember all the details,
It's a great
but
story.
I do remember there was coffee that came from some sort of species. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you travelled actually when you left the ship. So we worked in Asia. We actually doubled up, and for a short period, we were both on the ship at the same time again. And then you went off, and rather than going home, you actually stayed in Asia and did some travelling, right?
Yes, I absolutely loved it. Basically, years and years and years ago, many years ago, when I was on, I think Holland, we were in Cambodia for the day, I think it was.
Mm. Hmm.
And myself and the lady I was seeing at the time, a lady called Lindsay, lovely lady,
Mhm.
we got off the ship got a like a tuk-tuk thing, went to a resort, got massages, foods, beverages, got treated royally. And then when it came to the end of the day, because I was like, you know me, I'm so don't even think about money, don't even
Mm.
question the prices of things. But when it came to the end of the day, this ridiculous day, I'm like, well, we've racked up food, drink, massage, all this sort of stuff. It came to like $25. And for years, I kept thinking, I need to go back to Cambodia because this was ridiculously priced. I
Yeah,
could live like a king. I am a millionaire in this part of the world.
you are.
The rest of the world, I live in a bridge down by the river, in a van down by the river. So I went back to Cambodia for a month, and this was incredible. Five-star hotels in Cambodia start at well, they did then a couple of years ago, $44, like for a five-star hotel.
And this
I
is
went
around the Christmas time, isn't it?
yeah, it was right after Christmas, I think. Yeah. In fact, it might have been Christmas and New Year period. And I went to Malaysia for a week, I think, which is truly Asia. And then I went to Cambodia for a month and I stayed for 4 weeks in five-star hotels because I went nuts and I upgraded and I spent another $10. So I think for $55 a night, I think it was, I stayed for a month. And this included, it was half board. So I got breakfast with that as well for a month. I was like, this is living. This is living. And so I stayed near a place called Angkor Wat. Do you know Angkor Wat?
Yes, yes.
So I
Yeah.
went to see Angkor Wat, had to get up. I wanted to get pictures of the sunrise, as did everybody else. And
Mhm.
got up very early and got to Angkor Wat to see the sunrise and have a little walk around. So I did 2 weeks there in that part of the world and then 2 weeks in Phnom Penh. Because when I was a kid, did you ever watch The Killing Fields?
Yeah, yeah.
So I watched The Killing Fields when I was a kid. My father showed it to me and my brother, and probably were a bit too young, I think,
Mm.
because it traumatized me. So I remember thinking I need to go back and I need to go and see The Killing Fields and watch the movie again. So I did. I watched the movie again, and I learned all about what had happened with Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot and
Mhm.
awful people like that, and went to see it and learn a bit about it. So yeah, I had a month stay. The food was fantastic. In the evening, you'd probably pay like 50 cents or 75 cents for an adult beverage, like a beer. And dinner you could have easily for anywhere between $1 and $5.
And everybody is so friendly and eager to help. Not everybody, but most of the people down there are very friendly. You'll occasionally get some old man or lady shouting nonsense at people, but on the
Well, it's
whole,
usually
it's a
you.
lovely place. Mm, mm.
No, I think,
The
and I
shouting,
think people are nice to you as well. I think because you've got that sort of face that says this person needs a little bit of extra help, perhaps.
a little bit of help.
Like yeah, like they offer you their seat on the bus, or they show you,
Yeah,
you're holding your phone
move the
upside
chicken.
down. Yeah. Uh, the other thing I distinctly remember was when I was going every day, I'd go for a nice walk. I was going to the gym and go for a walk, and I was really trying to eat well. I mean, I was still having beer, but anyway, I was trying to eat well. I was trying to eat vegetarian as well. And I remember I'd go to this coffee place quite a lot of mornings, and they made this. I would go in every day and say, "Can I have an ice cold skinny latte?" Like, as in non-fat milk, skim milk latte, but cold. I think it was. And they would smile and go, "Yes, no problem." And they would bring it over to me. And oh my goodness, it tasted like crack. I mean, I don't know what crack tastes like, but I can only imagine it was so good and so sweet and so delicious. And I'd go back there every day going, I can't believe this is I don't know what they do to it, but it is just incredible tasting. And
Don't they
every
put
day I'd
an
go,
egg yolk in the coffee or something? Don't they do that down there?
well, so one day after about a week or so of this, I decided to sit strategically so I could see them make it. So I thought, well, if I can do this when I'm back home,
Mm.
this would be great because it's so sweet, so delicious. And I can't believe it's probably only like maybe 100 calories if it's got skim milk in it. So I sat there watching the lady who I would go in and go, "Hey, can I have a skinny latte, please, on ice?" And then she would proceed to get this big mixie jug thing, and she would open not one, but two tins of condensed milk, like that stuff you had in the war or something.
They
So
love that. Yeah,
this is
yeah.
pure sugar. This is pure sugar. Thousands of calories. It was probably a 2,000 calorie drink. And the reason it tasted so nice is because I was basically drinking cream and sugar in a glass. And she was just nodding away, going, "Yes, yes." And she just made whatever drink she wanted to.
They
It was
love it.
delicious, though. I loved it. I loved the people there. The food there was delicious. I'd like to go back, but obviously living in Florida now, it really is the other side of the world, and it might be difficult for work answering emails. Technically, I can work remotely, but it is an amazing
Interestingly enough, I mean, I love Asian food, as do you, but also if you go around some of those Asian countries, because they have the influence of Europe over there from earlier on, and you can get so many different types of food and architecture, and all the different things are actually available. And then a combination of all of those together, making something quite unique and different, you know.
Yes, it is quite a clash of cultures, and there is definitely remnants of history well, people coming through, as I guess there are in many parts of the world. That part of the world, though, I think it does a lot to retain its sense of identity. And I never went to. Have you ever been to Laos next door?
No, no, I have not. No.
So I think maybe that would be somewhere to go and visit and be interesting. I also looked into going to what's the name of that really happy country that's really, really small? Is it? Do you know which one I'm talking about? Is it Bhutan? That's a real place, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think so. So Bhutan, every year they measure how happy people are everywhere in the
Hmm.
world, and I think Bhutan usually comes out on top.
Okay.
And it's a beauty. Everybody's very zen there. There's good infrastructure. They're lovely people, and I wanted to go and see what else and why are they the happiest people on earth? Why do they have this unbelievable sense of contentment? And it's right next to Mount Everest, so you have to fly in, I think, via Kathmandu, and I think you can see Everest. I think depending on the flight you take,
Wow.
I think you can fly past Everest, not over Everest, but
Yeah.
fly. You can actually see it in the
Round it.
distance. I
Yeah.
think if it's a good day in terms of visibility, but then I think they charge you $200 a day to go and visit the country, and I'm like, well, that's why they're so happy. They're so happy because every tourist that comes in has to pay $200 a day tourist tax. And then the hotels on top of that. So I never got to go to Bhutan, but it would be one on the list as well. If I get back to that part of the world anytime in the next few years before my knees finally give out, then Bhutan and maybe not climbing Everest, just seeing it from a little plane would be good enough for me.
And did you ever, when greeting someone from an Asian country, do you ever find yourself bowing?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. Why do you?
Well, it's that weird thing. If someone bows to you, you sort of think out of respect, maybe I should bow back. Maybe it's being rude not to bow. I don't know. Do you shake hands? Do you fist bump? Nothing worse than shaking hands when someone else is going to fist bump you.
Well, I think you just try and yes, I think you just try and do what the locals do, don't you? I
Mm,
think.
don't know. I'm never too sure about that.
The other thing I liked about that area was like an Uber. Their version of Uber is called Grab, and you can basically
Oh, yeah.
order a tuk tuk and a taxi, but a tuk tuk or a bike or something on this little app, and it worked brilliantly for me. For not everybody, some people didn't, not so much, but for me it worked fantastic, and it was so inexpensive. It was like 80 cents to go into town on a tuk tuk little thing, and it was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. Now I wanted to go back there now and just try the delicious food instead of just going having chicken McNuggets for lunch.
And where the ports are, where the cruise ships stop, they're still
Yes.
really industrial ports, a lot of them. And so you actually have to there's not much around the ports themselves. You have to travel, an hour, at least an hour to go to the main attractions and the places that you really want to see, right? So you really have to do a little bit of legwork out there.
Yeah, you sounded quite London, eh? You've got to travel an hour. An hour. Yes, you do. It's always a misnomer that people think they're going to get off the ship and 5 yards away, there's going to be a giant reclining Buddha that is 40 meters wide, something like that. No, you do have to travel a little bit further. But I definitely think it's worth it to see that part of the world, especially if in your own independent travel, you couldn't do it. So if you don't fancy putting together an itinerary, if you don't fancy hopping from place to place and letting the ship do the work, which is one of the awesome things about cruise ships, that they do most of the work. And yes, you've got to drive a bus, but the guests don't drive the bus. The other people drive the bus, so the ship is still doing most of the work for you. You just have to book it, show up, follow the person with the lollipop, and then go and then see the incredible sights that there are. And they really are worth it.
Absolutely. And in Halong Bay, a place that we went together, and it's in Vietnam, and it's one of those few places where the ship docks, you can literally just walk into town there, and there's so much you can get from being right there, really. They have, I think, that cable car that goes across the bay there, and I think it's one of the biggest cable cars in the world that holds 2 levels of people going across there.
Is it?
And actually, up on the hill in Vietnam, they have a lot of those theme parks, don't they, that aren't really being used that much for some reason, like they're all off season. But you can go up there and have a look around. They had that big Ferris wheel up on the top of the hill or the mountain or whatever you'd call it. And at night, everything in Halong Bay. It's great if you go there, because when we were there, we always had an overnight. And as it gets dark, all of the hotels light up. They've all got illuminations projected onto them, or small tiny lights that reflect like a little bit of a tiny Vegas feel. And this big Ferris wheel has lights across it and gives signals. So it actually used to project the name of the ship we were on and say hello and things like that. It's quite cool, actually. I enjoyed that.
I forgot about that. Yes, that's true. That did happen. I forgot all about that. I remember being off the ship at night, but I don't remember why. I think I had to get a medical there in
Wow.
that part of the world, which I'd never done before. But I think for whatever reason, my medical was going to run out. And I'm not sure if I got extended. Maybe I got extended or something like that. And I had to go about 2 hours to get my medical. And let's just say they were very thorough. I was like, wow. Didn't even take me out for dinner first, but they were very thorough. And I remember doing my medical there, and it took all day. And I remember it was 2 hours there. It was like a 3-hour medical and then 2 hours back. And it was a long day. Yes, a necessary part of it, getting the medical done. And it is like an MOT. It is like every so often getting a check-in on your body and seeing if if you'll make it another few months. I mean, you must look in the mirror and question, I mean, does it feel like you're falling apart sometimes?
Uh-huh. Well, I've just had my medical done again, so I'm quite pleased that I passed that one another time. It gives me another 2 years.
Were they like, well, it says here you passed.
That's how I am. But it's an incredible thing, right? So every 2 years you have to go in, they check your bloods and other fluids and stuff and check you out, and you go through a big checklist of stuff and have a few tests and things like that. As you say, it's really good to know that actually they've done a thorough check, that much higher than you would get if you just went to your personal doctor. But of course, and you're looking for things to go. The problem you have is they're quite expensive, aren't they, those medicals? And they last for 2 years, but the ship needs you to have a medical that runs 2 months longer than your next contract. So the problem is that if your next contract, the way it falls, that you need to get a medical earlier than every 2 years. You need to get every year and a half, essentially, in order to cover all your contracts, right?
Yeah, in some parts of the world, you have to have it done every year, I think. So 2 years is a bit of a luxury compared to some places in the world where they make you do it pretty much every year. And because, like you say, it's got to run past your next contract, you end up almost having to do one every single contract. And it is a lot. It's thorough. It is a necessary part of it, I think. I guess the cruise lines covering themselves, because I'm sure that, they need you to arrive healthy, and they need to send you back to your family healthy as well. But I'm sure your family were stunned when you passed again. They were like, "Well,
We
this
were
is the
all
last time." What did your kids say? Was there shock on their face? What did the lads say?
I think they were grateful, because obviously it meant I was going away again.
Yeah. What did your daughter say?
Ladies and gentlemen of the class of '99, if I could offer you only one tip for the future, it would be this. Laugh hard. It's the best advice you'll ever get. If you're gonna do something stupid, do it with style. Dance like nobody's judging, because guess what, they probably aren't. Get a pet, make sure it's not a goldfish. They're terrible conversationalists. Never trust a person who doesn't like pizza. They have questionable moral character. Do your laundry, trust me, it's better than wearing laundry day's outfit for 5 days straight. If you spill something on your shirt, just own it. It's called a style choice. Everybody's free to laugh hard. It's the antidote to life's crazy, overwhelming, and at times absurd yard. So laugh, cry, shout, let your voice be heard. Everybody's free to laugh hard. And if you trip, just take a bow. You're a star in a bizarre show. Learn to cook, but avoid trying to impress your date with flaming flambe. Cereal isn't just for breakfast. Midnight munching equals pure bliss. Always carry a snack, it's a real life hack. Hangry isn't chic, my friend. Wear socks that don't match with pride. It's a conversation starter, so don't hide. Switch your phone off once in a while. Go outside and read a book. Unless it's a textbook, then just pretend you read it. It's all good. Everybody's free to laugh hard. It's So laugh, cry, shout, let your voice be heard. Everybody's free to laugh hard. And if you trip, just take a bow. You're a star in a bizarre show. Be a friend, give the heartfelt compliment, even when it feels a little offbeat. Nobody really knows what they're doing, we're all just faking it sweet. Sing loudly in your car, it's therapy on wheels. And don't forget the steering wheel dance. So embrace each quirky moment, don't worry about making sense. Life's too short for too much seriousness. Everybody's free to laugh hard in this wild ride. Be the cheerful bard.
So now you're off the ship. You're basically dealing with entertainment directly on shoreside and booking people for ships. What are you looking for when you come across an act that you've never seen before? You go to these showcases, right? And you see lots of different things. Do you have a list of things you're looking for? Would you want a vocalist, a magician, a comedian, or do you just see what's happening and make notes of the good acts?
So the point I think we need to make here is no, there is no spot for you as a guest entertainer. Like, I understand how subtly you put that and what you were trying to do, but no, we are looking for talented people. So it would literally rule you out straight
Shall
away.
I send you my latest show reel?
No, my email's broken, and so is my WhatsApp, and so is you can't text me either. So no, nothing. No, I'm completely unavailable for the next 5 years. No, I would actually like to. I would find it amusing to see you do one of your shows. You've got a ridiculous amount. Let's come back to the topic of showcases, but you've got a ridiculous amount of shows and things you can do. Like if I was talented like you, I would have done more with my life, I think. I think that's the point. Is that you've let yourself down. You've let your kids down. No, you do so much. Am I allowed to talk about things you do? You've got a hypnotist show.
Yeah.
You've got 2 magic shows. You've got a mind reading and mentalism show.
I knew you were going to say that.
Got the Beatles and Elton John show.
Yeah.
You've got the comedy show.
Yeah. Stunning comedy.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
But what am I missing? There's one more, isn't there?
Well, we did improv comedy, didn't we?
There's
and,
improv,
that was great.
yes.
And then
Improv.
once you have that set up, you can find people and continue that going. That's always really great fun, but you have to have at least one other person with you, or you can sort of build in a pseudo improv part to your stand-up comedy, which I've done as well.
Yeah, you have a ridiculous. I encourage anybody that ever gets to cruise with you to check out. Basically, show up. If Pete's going to be there, there's going to be good times happening. Right? It's very, very. It's good fun. You know, I enjoyed working with you because I knew that I was going to have fun.
Did you say enjoyed?
Yeah. Did it? Maybe it's my microphone settings. I enjoyed working with you because I knew we were going to have fun in all the various things you did. Like when you were excited about something, you gave a lot of effort. If you weren't excited about something, then I don't want to talk about it. But when you were enthused by an idea, it was always good fun. So here's what happens. Basically, there's lots of ways where you find guest entertainers for cruise ships around the world. And there's no one way of doing it, but one of the main ways of doing it is people will submit to us. They will send stuff to us and they'll say, listen, can you have a look at my show? Now, I don't do it for our company. There's somebody else, a lady called Jane, that does it. There's lots of ways of doing it. So what you could do is you can send a tape of you doing whatever it might be. It might be juggling. It might be magic. It might be Cirque du Soleil type stuff. It could be singing. It could be whatever it might be. You send that in and then it gets reviewed, and we do it at our company, and I'm sure other companies do it as well. The other way is that we can find people sometimes on social. Sometimes we'll be looking through Instagram. I'm quite often looking for comedians on Instagram. I like comedy. I like watching comedy. I was in New York not that long ago. I go to comedy events to see if I can find new comedians, and they also submit to us as well. And then I have a few contacts in the comedy world, and then people in the business, they have contacts in their world, be it magic, be it juggling, whatever it might be, singing, that sort of thing as well. We're always on the lookout for something really good, high quality. And I will tell you this, that more and more people used to think of be all and end all being the West End and Broadway, and cruise ships being like that Simon Cowell thing, like you are good to
Hmm.
sing on a cruise ship.
Hmm.
Nowadays, the money isn't there, especially in the West End. It's a bit different in Broadway and off Broadway because they have unions and there's equity and non equity. But even those, I know there are people on not great deals on Broadway. And I know there are people in the West End who are on terrible deals as well, to the point where you could be asked to do, say, 9, 10 shows a week for like, you'd be stunned how little money they get. You'd be like, you
Hmm.
cannot live on that. You literally cannot live on the money. And so we get an inordinate amount of submissions from Broadway people and West End people, both sides of the pond, that want to do cruise ships.
And do you find that people like the quality of an act? You can get away with a certain kind of almost amateurish act in some clubs and pubs as you go around, and they think maybe they're better than they are. But when you come to go on a cruise ship, the expectation is quite high, right? I have seen acts come on who are good. They know the songs or the tricks or different whatever they're doing, but it's the way you hold on and control the audience. There's an expectation there. And when you're going into a theatre that holds a minimum 1,000 people, it's a different way of running things. You have to have good management of the stage management kind of thing.
A lot of times, people going into a theatre on a cruise ship, they just expect that the people on stage are going to be good. You don't think that they're going to be terrible. It might not be your taste, but you don't expect they're going to be terrible. But that's not where you win people over. Where you win people over is often, the bits around the bit of your talent. So you might be a really good juggler, but the best jugglers are not. It's not like the person who can juggle 9 knives is show is better than the person that can only juggle 5 knives or something like that.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
same with magic. It might be the same with singing. It's not somebody who can do 6 octaves is a better
Mm.
show than somebody that only can do 3 octaves. It's the stuff around it. It's how you draw people in. It's how you connect with the audience. It's why am I listening to you sing this song? You can't just come and say, well, this is my favorite one by Fleetwood Mac, I'm going to sing this one. Or this is my favorite by James Taylor, I'm going to sing this one now. Or this is my favorite by Prince, I'm going to sing this one. It's that, why am I listening to you sing this as opposed to absolutely anyone else? And so that's where you win people over. And that's where the best acts are. It's what else that they do apart from their thing. It's ironic in the fact that, yes, as you explain it, it doesn't make sense. The best shows are them doing something other than the thing you're thinking that they're going to do. So, for example, like a violin player, like sometimes it's a bit difficult to get people in to see somebody. If you put on the marquee outside the theatre, this person's going to play violin. Because you're like, well, I don't know if I want to listen to 45 minutes of just violin playing.
Mm.
The best shows are ones where they'll tell you stories, or there might be great visuals with what they're doing as well, or they'll make you laugh, or they'll tell you the story of the interesting stories of their lives or the people they've met or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think it's also likability. I think that's something that is not completely considered. Likability is a skill, I think, that people, I don't know how to explain it, but if you can make people like you, then that's half the work done right there.
And do you wonder then why you've always struggled?
I used to imagine that there is a wall between me and the audience, and the quicker you can dismantle the wall and make the connection, that's the game in your head. You've got to try and find that the audience don't feel. Some people separate themselves on stage and they take a step back, and it's like the audience and you, and sometimes the orchestra even further back than that. And I think it's a good thing to try and become, be all inclusive, make it an experience for everybody that they're part of it.
You do have a likability on stage. Like, I forget what they call it in TV land, but I think they call it Q scores. So you basically, they put people on the screen and put people on camera, and then they test them. And so there's certain people that have higher, I'm sure it's called Q scores, but I might be misremembering that. And so basically, they know who people that they want to see on TV. They would do it in the UK all the time. I'm sure the BBC is constantly looking at everybody's Q scores, and that's how they decide who gets Saturday night TV and who gets 2 a.m. on a Thursday TV. And it's the same with it's not as clinical as that, but there's just that sort of warmth or likability, and you do have that. And I would say for me, it was a bit more of a struggle for me. I'm one of those people. I think you don't warm to me straight away. I always think it as the beer scenario. Damien, who we worked alongside and was our boss. Damien's just somebody you want to have a beer with. You just want to go, you're
Yeah.
like, I want to be sat next to, I always think of the Impractical Jokers. Have you ever seen the
Yeah.
TV show, The Impractical Jokers?
Yeah.
If you were sat in a bar in New York City and one of the Impractical Jokers, you'd be like, oh, I want to buy this guy a beer. He's like, this
Right.
guy's like awesome. And I think I struggled on the shorter cruises. I don't think I could break down that wall. I don't think I could break down that barrier. And I'm not sure why, because I used to think about it. What is it? Why am I such an awful human being?
Mm.
And I never really figured it out. What I did find is that sort of 7 to 10 days was the sweet spot for me. And I could hopefully make an impression and make people tolerate me a bit more. And then by 14 to 16 day cruises, they started to get bored of me after that. They were all right, we're done with this guy now. We're done. So 7 to 10 days was my sweet spot, I think.
How long have we known each other? Maybe about
Too long.
14 years, something like that.
Well, you can mention this, but you don't remember the first time we met. So
No, that's true.
That's
Anyway,
very
the
awkward.
point is I'm just warming up to you. All right, a final one. You got time for a quick little bit more?
Yeah. All right.
Now, I know one of your Now, I know one of your favorite subjects is alcohol and drinking. And on board the ships, of course, it's very good value and one of the things, you do.
Mm.
Have you ever come across somebody who has drunk too much, one of your team, maybe your production cast or anything like that, during a show or even something, like that, but is funny rather than serious?
Are you trying to get me to say you? Because that's... Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, over the years, I've encountered people that have had beverages. And I think the thing is, ship life is a bit of a bubble. And sometimes you don't see things as that in the normal world, that like if you were in a hospital or something like that, or you're an airline pilot, it's different because on ships, everybody's in a good mood and you're sailing around the world and it's a bit of a weird bubble. And of course, every single day when you arrive at some nice port, maybe it's somewhere sunny, like it could be St. Martin or it could be St. Lucia or St. Bart's or St. Thomas or something, any of the saints really, or Barbados. And you get to these lovely places and you get off the ship and you go and have some beverages and then you come back to the ship and, maybe have a little snooze. So it's in a way, it's not the real world. I would say I probably drank a little bit less as the years went by, as opposed to increase. What about you?
Well, I mean, there's a very low amount you can drink and be on duty or even off duty. And there is, on some lines, is zero tolerance at all for any of those things. So at any one time, you've got to realize that if you have a problem, if there's an accident or something like that, and you're breathalyzed, you could lose your job. It's a very serious kind of thing. But within reason, we have a few cheeky beers here and there and a few little sidelines. But it was a couple of years ago, and it was towards the end of my contract, and I suddenly got a phone call. It's the last show of the cruise, a production show in the theatre, a Broadway-style show. And one of the vocalists had somehow forgotten there was a second show of the night and started drinking quite heavily in the gap between them. And they literally had to wake him up to come to the second show. So we watched. He was a big guy. So we watched him to see how it went in case there was any problems. And he was like one step behind the other singers in their routines that they were doing for the whole show, which actually worked out really comical. It was like watching your dad try and dance, or even you trying to do a dance routine maybe. And but in the end, of course, you just can't. People were, I think, that's right. I think one of the officers, maybe even the hotel director or the guest relations director, actually sent me a message while I was watching the show. They were watching the show as well and said, "Is everything all right?" So I think, well, once it's been spotted like that, you have to go through some procedures. And unfortunately, there's no way this guy's going to come out of it. He was so drunk. When someone is trying not to act drunk and they're stepping on your shoes and leaning against you and still talking like, no, I haven't. What? You know, like you do sometimes.
It's one of the great things about being off the ship is not having that weight of, responsibility over you. But being on the ship, yeah, it is something. I mean, I would say probably 30, 40 years ago, the stories and the legendary nature of the beveraging that went back on then, I think now it's getting a lot more strict. I think you have to be a lot more wary of it.
Raise the glass to the evening glow, let the laughter ring so clear. In the warmth of the gathering, let the worries disappear. A cheeky little beer, crisp on the tongue, oh what a treat. Chilled and inviting, a dance on the palate, summer's heartbeat. Golden bubbles rise like little stars in a glass of cheer. With every sip let the world fade, produce a vibrant atmosphere. Let's lift our spirits high, in this moment time stands still. With friends around we share our hearts, navigating life's thrill. Vodka Sprite, that's what I like. A swirl of citrus bright, a playful twist in every sip, chasing shadows of the night. Oh, let the flavors intertwine as we spin beneath the moon. With every toast, let laughter rise like a sweet enchanting tune. And then there's the bottle of red wine, rich and divine. Each pour like poetry that unleashes the stars to shine. Savoring each moment, time slows as it flows. Dancing thoughts around the table where the warmth of friendship grows. Shared stories and dreams painted with laughter's brush. A canvas lined with cheer in the evening soft hush. Vodka Sprite, that's what I like. A swirl of citrus bright, a playful twist in every sip, chasing shadows of the night. Oh, let the flavors intertwine as we spin beneath the moon. With every toast, let laughter rise like a sweet enchanting tune. A journey in time, weaving through laughter and love. A symphony of flavors that the stars are dreaming of. Raise your glass to the stories we'll tell. Cheers to the moments where we all dwell. So here's to a cheeky little beer, refreshing and clear. To the vodka Sprite, the red wine, and friends we hold dear. Let the night linger like a melody, soft and sweet. In the company of good vibes, life's flow is complete.